What is up, world? This is Cam here with my boys, Shepherds of Men, JP, Wilson, woohoo, and O. I love how everybody's saying hello. That's awesome. Hi. How are you?
Hi.
One of my favorite movies.
Well, hello.
Yeah, we're pumped today, man. We've got some cool stuff to talk about. I hope everybody's doing well. We definitely are, crushing another week, and just excited about what's going on. We have been getting so much incredible feedback this past week from our listeners. We appreciate you guys for that. Just want to say that real quick. Thank y'all for everything. Thank you for contributing to the movement and helping us continue to get the message out about what it is to be a real man. And that is not just for the dudes out there. The ladies are really spreading the word too. I feel like there's a movement there going on as well. So anyways, going to be awesome stuff. Tonight, we're going to keep it pretty practical. I know we've been getting real in depth about some things with some thought process and mentality over the last number of episodes. So we're going to get back to the basics. We're going to talk about what it's like to be a gentleman, what it means to be a gentleman, and some of the practical habits. But before we get into that, I just want to remind everybody that we are not here to be politically correct. We are not here to coddle you or pamper you. We're not here to make you feel good. Matter of fact, JP has a hoodie that I think we're all going to get that will maybe we'll post that, maybe we won't. I don't know. But we are here to speak truth. We are here to speak from our heart. We are passionate about this movement and this project of Shepherds of Men. We always will be, and we're not going to hold back, as we've always said. So as far as disclaimers go, that's what it's going to be. We do want to say thanks to all those that have new followers that are out there. I know we've had a ton of new followers on social media. We've even picked up some new followers on SoundCloud and Spotify. We encourage you guys to continue to do that. That way you're notified as soon as new episodes are coming out. And obviously you can go to shepherdsof.men. Join our website. You get first access to things, recommended reading, and all kinds of different cool stuff. So with that being said, everybody say a quick hello. I'm going to start over here with O-Man because he's got this really cool, sexy stash going on now.
Yeah, man, it was like a last-minute decision that everyone at work is giving me shit about. So
That's a great decision.
You know what it
that's
is, though.
jealousy shit.
It is. You're like, oh,
I'm pretty jealous.
What's it? Something Lester the molester, whatever they're calling it.
Chester.
Oh, wow.
Chester.
Yeah. Oh, he looks like Chester the molester.
Or like the
I said, you look like
molestache.
you're getting fired. Some of that.
Did you get that one yet? The molestache?
No, I haven't got that yet.
I think that's an original.
I'm like, well, you guys just can't
Trademark.
rock a effective mustache, so.
Right. Got handlebars and everything.
I'm actually liking it a lot, though.
Dude, I dig it,
I'm
man.
with it.
Especially the little flavor saver you got there at the bottom.
Hey, listen, man, grow it and twist it. Grow it and twist it. Grow it and twist
That's
it.
just good
Yeah, I'm
advice
doing
in
it.
general.
Dude, why the hell not?
Why not? I've already got the wax at home from the beard.
See,
so.
right?
go.
Oh yeah. So we'll twist it. Candy will hate that. She doesn't like that shit.
She didn't like the
She doesn't like the twist,
Really?
twisty stash.
She likes your beard, though, right?
Oh yeah, she doesn't mind.
Is she pissed about it just being a mustache now?
Yeah, she has. She's like, oh my god, it's so soft.
Dude, so I grew this out, and my wife, we've been married for a while now, and like I've never had a beard. And she goes, oh my gosh, I love it. She's like, before it was, no, what'd she say? She's like, it's like I'm kissing a man now. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
wow.
Kissing a girl before.
Wow. Like, don't hold back, babe.
Can we move on to the next subject?
Says the guy that can't grow
your beard out,
facial hair.
JP can't grow.
Oh, man. Your goatee's rocking, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude, you've always got a solid patch of chin hair,
Yeah, chin hair.
like a goat or something.
Nah.
Graceful time, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
We'll
go with that.
The goat.
Thanks.
Lots of
Thank God
periods.
we finally went into some truth. I thought we were speaking truth here.
Yeah,
Good
we're just
recovery.
BSing
We're
there
good.
for a while.
Yeah. No, what's up? Last week has been pretty solid. I feel like it's been forever since we sat down at the table. I don't know why, but
It does kind of feel like it's been a while.
Yeah.
it is. It's been great. Everything's great. It's great. I'm great.
Sounds so sincere. Sounds so sincere. I love your
for the
positivity.
first, just to be completely transparent and not Instagram truth, I guess would be honestly, I felt my first struggle in a career that I think I've ever had, which has been super revealing. I think. Obviously, failure is in my mind. Failure is necessary for success, and I would say last month was the problem. I felt like I failed. My team. It's their performance, but I got to inspire.
You're the head guy, yeah,
and everything like that. So yeah, I think it was very revealing on my part, and where I was lacking, what I needed to step up for sure. And it probably one of my favorite months of all time, which is probably weird for people to hear say, like he failed and that was his favorite month. But it really was, like, because that's how I was able to get to the next step. And this month we've done a completely 180. We were number 5 in the East region, where there's 200 and something teams, and we were number 5.
I'm gonna say as long as it's not out of 6, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, 270 something teams, I think it is. So
Nice.
I'm definitely not upset about it. But yeah, it's been sweet, man. How about you, Wilson?
Man, things are good at the house. Just the episodes that are coming up, just kind of getting prepared for it was really cool. But we've got a lot of new things coming down the pipe and a lot of new things happening career-wise and things of that sort. Other people listen to this, so I'm not going to disclose anything until I'm ready for that. But but yeah, it's exciting to see where God's leading us and our family, and just kind of getting more, I guess, in sync with my wife, which was really cool. We had a good argument, and then kind of collectively kind of come together with some things. I need to work on my words and stuff like that. So we are not a perfect house. We're always growing and becoming, so which is pretty cool. But I'm excited to see what she has to say later on the next podcast or two, depending on when that comes out. But I'm really pumped to see where we're going to talk about here with the Gentleman's Code and what we're talking about here with you, Cam, and just it's pumped, man. It's a good week. It's a real good week.
Well, I'm glad you went before me because I happen to have a perfect household. No, things are chaos in my house. In a good way. Brand new baby tends to throw a little bit of a wrench in the gears, I guess. You get everything moving good, and then you bring that new baby on board. But he's freaking awesome. Amazing blessing. To be honest with you, every time you see stuff out there, you just tend to look at that and go, you know what? I'm blessed. I'm a very blessed individual. So. I'm counting my blessings, to be honest with you. I'm really happy with the way things are going. Just to kind of reiterate what everybody else is saying, taking on new challenges, some things that, to be honest with you and to be completely frank, scared the shit out of me. But I know are necessary, for growth and to be where I want to be at. So, speaking of scaring the shit out of me, man, I have been getting my ass kicked in this CrossFit stuff,
I'm with you.
And Wilson understands. Wilson's been in there with me and stuff, man, but it's so cool. My dad's down here, just kind of spending some time for a week or so down from Michigan. And we were talking about on the way back, from the CrossFit gym. And he was like, dude, you're built when you look at, you in there with the other guys that are in there working out and stuff, like you're freaking built, but it's a different kind of monster, man. It goes back to kind of what we were talking about in these past episodes. When you get comfortable, it's time to change something. Mm-hmm. It's easy for me to get under that 300 pounds of weight and rep out some bench press and some different things like that, and then take a 2, 3, 4 minute session or whatever to rest and everything. And then the CrossFit thing is a little bit different. Now my triceps are doing 7,000 reps within 22 seconds. Mm-hmm. Or whatever, and you're like, son of a bitch, like just blown up. So it's totally different, but it's great because there's a lot of growth, and anytime there's pain and stuff, there's growth.
Your arms look like there's a lot of growth going on.
I firmly believe that.
I got here. I was the first one here earlier, and he's like full on, not just tank top, like skin tight tank top. Like it's not like it's one thing to just show your arms. It's another thing to show everything else because the shirt's too small.
Right.
And I'm like, dude,
it
might as well have been. It's like a cat suit tank top is what it was. And I was like, dude, seriously, my wife. I'm trying to stay married. Yeah. Right. I mean, my wife's here. You don't see me walking around with my shirt off in front of your wife.
Dude, he walks in and I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? He's like, hey, man, good. Everything's good. I'm going to need you to put a shirt on. I'm like, damn, really?
I mean, I'm secure with everything below that, but up top, I feel like...
Not everybody's got a kickstand, Cameron.
Just start wearing some tight shorts when you come over here.
That's exactly
right. That's right. Yeah, bicycle shorts and a flower.
There.
Yeah. How do you make you feel?
So funny. Oh, man, I love it. Well, before we get too far off track and don't sound like gentlemen, let's talk about what we're going to talk about. So, like I mentioned at the beginning here, we kind of want to get back into some practical things. This was just stuff that's been on my heart for a few weeks, and I kind of, I don't know how you guys, I think y'all kind of do some of the same stuff, but like, when you have a thought about something or just a light bulb goes off or a reminder of things you learned in the past or whatever from people you respect, I just jot it down real quick, And in our life, by the way, our life is awesome too, but it's no different than anybody else's. It's challenges every day. None of them are easy. Like there hadn't been a single day this week that was just super easy. I mean, and that's what I want to make sure some listeners, as we kind of a preface to this, Like, we go around the table and we say, oh, this week was awesome, and we're kicking ass and taking names, da-da-da-da-da. That's true. That's our mentality. But we're also fighting sicknesses and keeping, and kids are sick and, close friends passing away and, going to funerals and having challenges at work and doing all those kinds of things. So it's no different than anybody else's life that's on here listening. It's just that we choose to approach it a different way. So, and I think as we move into these things that we believe are as important as gentlemen, that you keep that in mind. Like, you don't just do this stuff when you feel like it. You don't just do this stuff when you're in a good mood. You do this because you're a man and hopefully you're a gentleman, So there was just really, I think what tipped it off, not to get on a somber note here, but I was at a visitation or a wake or whatever you want to call it for somebody that Wilson and I both know. I think it was this past week. Oh, okay. Yeah, this past week.
Wow.
And I mean, honestly, young guy, 36, died of ALS. Mm-hmm. That is a crappy ass thing to get. Mm-hmm. And I won't get into all the details about that, but it's one of those where it's just kind of like anytime stuff like that happens, it gives you perspective on things. But I went to the visitation, and obviously, people in that part of their life, it just seems that it brings people. And this dude was a great dude. Yeah. A great dude. But you're there for a while. Like, I was standing in line for like an hour or some change. And I just kind of got looking around, and, I promise I wasn't judging, but it was one of those things like, I pulled out my phone and made a note of it right then. And that's kind of so maybe this was a week and a half ago, and that kind of spearheaded me to think about some other things. And I was just noticing, like, kind of how casual some people were, and like how hang loose. And I'm not saying you should be stiff or whatever, and you got to, understand that you probably should bring some joy into the room, and really it's a celebration of life more than anything, especially for this dude. I mean, his wife, her attitude was amazing, and yada, yada, yada. But I was just like, and I'm not saying whatever, but I went home from work and cleaned up and put a coat on, represented myself and my family well. And really not even that, it was paying respect to a human life. Right. Right. And that's the way I look at it, is I put some slacks on and a button down and a dress coat because I was going to pay respects to a person. And it was just amazing to me, like, how many people were in there in like untucked t-shirts and da 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 da. And so I wrote a note down, as far as some of these, and it said, anytime you're paying respect, where'd I go? Anytime you're showing respect for a life, wear a coat.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's a gentleman thing. Some of you are looking at me like I'm crazy. I just believe that's true.
No, that's true.
I like it. I'm thinking about the t-shirt.
Like, I can't believe it.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're great people. Just nobody ever taught them what to do. Yeah. So that's why I thought
putting that phrase on the t-shirt.
Oh, yeah. I get a shirt.
You get a shirt now.
Yeah, I get a shirt.
Yeah, you did it.
What did he say?
I wish we had video of that. O'Neill's sitting there stroking this glorious mustache that he has going on. He leans up to the microphone. He goes, "You know what? You did it.
You did.
You made it a shirt.
I'm so proud of you because
you made a shirt.
To this point, I have them all.
Yeah.
And now I get one. JP has one or two.
I've actually put some of mine on clearance because
they're not selling.
So So that was kind of, and then I got to thinking about all the other little things, and I was like, why do I know that? Why is that in my mind? And it was just stuff that I saw, from my dad or my grandparents or whatever, or I heard, some of it was probably directly said to me. Some of it was just stuff I noticed. So I had asked you guys to maybe think of a handful of things that would be something a gentleman would do. Mm-hmm. And some of these are going to be like, people are going to go, oh yeah, well that makes sense. Right. And some might be a little more off the wall, whatever. So
I hope some of it does make sense. I hope some people go, you know what, that's a good point.
But I have a strange feeling that a lot of this people are going to be like, oh, no shit. You're supposed to do that?
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to do it, because I feel like sometimes we overlook that stuff and we're like, let's talk about how deep, your mindset should be. Why don't we talk about like looking somebody in the eye when you shake their hand?
Amen.
Because that's what I teach my 4-year-old.
Not only just while they're shaking your hand, like when you're in the conversation.
Right.
They'll be looking all over the place. That's telling them that you're listening to them. Like whenever we're talking to people, I'm like, dude, look at me in the eye. I want to know that you're paying attention to me right now, because what I have to say is important, and what you have to say is important, because I'm going to give you the equal respect. I see so many people or they just don't have the confidence. Like, dude, if you feel that,
a lot of that self-image, looking in the eye.
But still, it's like, come on, dude, be a man.
Yeah. Don't be weird though.
Yeah, you got to break sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm not
yeah.
gonna like stare like.
Don't get the creepy.
Dude,
Like,
if I'm having a conversation with a guy and I've been talking for several minutes and he's like eye to eye with me like this, like staring at me,
Yes,
I'm like,
yes,
dude,
blink.
take
Yeah,
a break.
You gonna
Yeah.
blink?
Break.
I need you to
It's okay.
breathe,
Yeah.
and I need you to like let
Yeah.
your vertebrae
Yeah.
down a little
Yeah.
bit.
But
Yeah.
now, if you can't even make eye contact, like I've talked to men that are like, well, boys, I guess that they can't even keep eye contact with me for 2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like, seriously,
Yeah.
are you weird? Are
It's
you
a confidence thing.
is there a problem here?
Mm.
You know,
I think for me, it's like, you pass someone in the hallway or you pass another dude on the street or whatever, and you just lock eyes. You're like, hey man, how you doing? For me, it's like, who's gonna look away first?
Right.
Oh, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm about to stay dominant on this dude. Hey man, how you doing?
As you stroke the
And
mustache.
As I stroke my glorious mustache. as Josh says.
And he's wondering, I don't know how I'm doing right now.
And what I mean by don't be
Yeah.
weird is like we've talked about in the past, like when somebody walks up, like and you're like, "Hey man, how you doing?" They just stare at you.
Oh yeah.
Like respond.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's
You
okay.
can talk.
Oh, you don't get that. That's all you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
looking in the eye is not the point.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't
Yeah.
just stare at me.
So I'm going to go through, one or two or whatever, and we'll just take the conversation wherever it goes. What y'all think about it? There may be some of these you guys disagree. I'm great with that. But some feedback if that's something that hits you or whatever. But firm handshake.
amen.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
don't give me a
dude,
limp fishy,
oh my
dude.
gosh.
we've talked
Seriously?
about that before.
Mm.
Like
Especially
instant loss of respect for me.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other
Come on,
thing
dude.
too: is I hate when they grab your hand before you can really get a good grip. Like they grab you at the tips of your hand and they
Yeah.
grab you there. It's
Oh,
like, dude, wait, let
Yeah.
me lock.
do you stop? I stop them.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
we're gonna
let's
start
lock.
over on
Yeah,
that.
let's
Can we
do
do
that
that again?
again. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Can
so
we
that's
do
what I
that
was
again?
going to clarify.
There's
so
two
so
types.
you should always feel confident in that. If you go to take a handshake with somebody, that's important. The handshake is very important. But if somebody grabs your hand and they get your fingertips and they're squeezing your fingertips, like don't be afraid to go, oh, wait a minute, let's try again. Come on, bro. You're a little premature. Hopefully that's just in your handshakes.
And a medium
Hey.
squeeze. Don't be like overzealous and try to break the dude's hand or a girl's hand for that matter. Because I see a lot of. I have a friend. He's all open. So whenever he shakes anybody's hand, he's all like, even a girl.
I'll leave
Like-
the.
Yeah, I do
You
the
one
two.
finger out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I do
you can't
two
squeeze a
fingers.
hand when you do that.
that's true. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
push
Grip
it
as hard as
you
you
push
can,
it in their
bro.
wrist. Yeah.
Yeah, I do the two.
You
I'm
take
like, yeah,
the
go ahead.
pointer finger and
Squeeze as hard as you can. You won't hurt me at all.
Yeah, you take
Go ahead.
so for everybody who can't see this, you take and you press the pointer finger up against the tendons on the wrist, and they can't squeeze as hard as what they normally would be able to if you weren't pushing on that.
I always do two fingers like that. I go like that.
You like the two finger, like two in the.
Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
always good too.
Is it like?
Gotcha.
Is it?
I didn't expect to go that way.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow, we
What,
really-
two in the wrist and one.
Yeah, two in the wrist.
See, what are you guys talking
And
about? Get
two
your head out of the
on the
gutter, guys.
So basically, don't limp wrist anybody. And
Don't
if
limp
you're
wrist.
giving the handshake, come in there firm and hold your ground. I guess
Mhm.
that's the best way to put that.
Yeah.
When you're shaking a hand, hold your ground. Grab a hold of them. Let them know you're there, but hold your ground.
And it's-
you don't have to take their ground.
Right.
It's not a
Hold
dominance
your-
thing. It's really not. It's
No.
it's a
Mutual.
hold your ground
Yep.
and a respect thing,
Right.
and I'm not a pushover kind of thing.
It's like talking to your neighbor across the fence, right? It's like
Oh.
you both have your ground,
Oh yeah.
but you talk across the fence. You don't jump into his yard and go,
Oh, right,
what's
yeah.
up? You
And
know?
it's about a 2-second hold. Not you don't go 5-10 seconds. It's a little weird.
Oh
There-
yeah,
And then definitely don't shake up and down like really hard, like you're doing something
car
else.
salesman shake.
Yeah, just
And
a simple.
oh my God.
We're getting
simple.
into depth in this, but there truly
a
is some
science.
science behind. There really is. There's
Yeah,
pressure
there
points
is.
in your hand.
Yeah,
There's different things that
What's the
trigger.
guy's name?
Endorphins.
The
Yeah.
book. It's a great book.
Ball.
yeah.
Ron Ball.
Ron Ball.
Yep.
He has a great book. And I can't
Awesome.
remember the name of it right now. If I think about it, I'll bring it up. But I would recommend it. And he talks about all these body triggers and whatever it's called, and it's fantastic. And there is a lot of science
For sure.
behind it.
Yeah, no, there's a
Mhm.
lot of science behind it.
The whole making sure you wedge your between your finger and your forefinger and your thumb,
Mhm.
and that y'all actually catch that wedge
Lock
together.
thumbs. Yeah,
Lock it. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So
The
how
belly
firm?
button thing.
So, but still shaking a lady's hand firm too.
Oh, for
Right?
sure.
Firm,
I think,
but
I think
not-
that's a.
yeah.
Now I'm not saying like hard, dude. You still want to
Mhm.
grasp, even if they come. Some ladies come in the ladylike handshake.
Mhm.
You still grip
Yeah.
firm.
She's
Yeah.
not. She don't want to shake a girl.
and some ladies come in there like my wife, and they're like,
They'll
dude,
snatch your
handshake.
hand from you.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude. So Candy shook someone I work with's handshake that
well played.
may or may not be up or down the chain of command. And she was like, that was the weakest fucking handshake I've ever had in my life. How do you work with this man or for this man for that matter. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean? We hug.
Yeah.
We don't shake hands. We hug.
Friends got a hug. Brothers don't shake
Bro,
hands.
she was
Brothers
giving
get
him
a hug.
down the road. She's like, he may have well just come in with the lady handshake. I mean, if he was just going to do it like that, I'm like, well, maybe he wasn't expecting you to come in like a dude and be like, bam, you know?
Yeah.
And
That tells me a
farmer's daughter, man, she's used to coming in like,
I love it. Just give benefit of the doubt.
Oh, for sure.
Like maybe he wasn't ready for you.
yeah, no,
Right.
it's just I told her, no, it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think that with dudes too. No worries.
wow. I think
Yeah.
it's a man code though. Like the handshake, it confirms that you are a man and you're confident with what you're doing. So some people, they don't realize that that's an important thing. So like some people who do give the limp fishy, they just, I don't know what they're thinking. They probably just don't know. They don't realize. And so it is important to give a good firm handshake and say, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. It's not something you're born with. Practice it. Like it's okay to practice this.
Yep.
Like you should practice your handshake.
If you're listening right now, this is the first time you ever heard this, don't feel like, man, I'm such a dumbass.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's not the
or
point.
I'm embarrassed or whatever. It's okay. Just don't ever shake anybody's hand like that again.
Yeah.
You know, like just
No,
confirm.
practice your handshake. Figure it out, man. Because when there's nothing, man, I'm telling you, there's nothing better than talking to somebody, whether it's a business deal or whatever it is, and you go to shake their hand and things just lock, nothing bounces, and it just, it's firm,
Yep.
and it's just like,
Yep.
you know, like
Feel good
there's-
about this.
It
like,
sets the tone for that meeting.
Yeah.
So like
Oh,
if you're at an interview, dude, if I was a manager hiring somebody and they gave me a limp fish, dude, I'm
Nope,
I'm
I'm
out
out.
right then and there. Like that's your first impression.
I've already done that.
It's very
Yeah,
important.
right.
I've had
Very
people come in,
Yeah.
week handshake. I'm like,
Yeah.
nice meeting you.
Can't do it, man.
Yeah.
Unless
I'll
you're
call you if I need you, man.
unless you're willing to work on somebody a little bit. Like if you feel like maybe I could help this guy develop a little bit, that may be a different round. Y'all are all looking at me like,
Yeah,
why would I?
I don't
waste
have
my
time.
I'm out.
That's why I do this, man. I don't have time for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, now for us, that may not necessarily be the case, but there could be people out there that could go, okay, I know some of these things, and I have I'm in a leadership role, and so I have the opportunity to teach guys things they may not have been taught. In that case, you may go, okay, I can overlook that, but we got to work on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah,
Right.
instead of giving them a telecommunications business card, I give them a SOM card.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
When the handshake's
That's what
like
we're
that,
here
that's
for.
right. Yeah,
That's
nice
right.
to meet you.
Here you
Give me a
go.
call about
Yeah.
anything.
And the other side of it is, because I know we all do this with our kids, is teach your kids, man. Like,
Yeah.
teach
Oh,
them
yeah.
young. Like, we start teaching our kids, like, when they come out the womb. I mean, I know little Nash, he's already, like, eyes, hands. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to.
Mhm.
I mean, all our boys, when we
Yeah,
go
sure.
somewhere new, like, shake their hand, look them in the
Yeah.
eye.
We
You
do the
have
nice
to.
to meet you. Nice
Yep.
to meet you.
Nice
Yeah.
to meet you.
Dude,
Yeah.
he cracks up every time.
Nice to meet
I'm
you.
like, squeeze harder. Squeeze harder.
What are you doing? You're making the family look bad.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're 3.
We don't raise any
Pull
weak
up,
3-year-olds around here.
Eye contact. You stare him down.
Drop it, give me 20.
Up, down, up, down, up, down.
You got 35-year-old men crying, shaking the hand of a 3-year-old. He won't stop looking at me.
Dude, that's just what
Creepy ass little kid.
He looks like Chucky. He's gonna kill her.
And he's also going to have your job one day.
Yeah.
He will.
That's so true.
Hashtag still your president.
Oh.
So I'm going to go on to the next one because we spent a lot of time on that one. The rest of them won't take as long, but this one was just the other day. And now I've heard a comedian talk about this a little bit, and I won't necessarily steer his thunder on it, but it's a similar situation where, like, if somebody's letting you cross the street, like, acknowledge it, you know? But mine was, like, in traffic, especially if it's, like, you know, and this may be, somebody's going to say, well, it's maybe too masculine or whatever, but, like, truck to truck. Like, if you're in a truck, another truck lets you in. Like, if you come merge in front of somebody, you can relate to this, I'm sure. If you merge in front of somebody, and they're behind you, still throw up. I mean, I can see
I do that every
if I
time.
let somebody merge in and they don't give me the handshake in the rearview mirror, I'm like, you bastard.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, acknowledge that I just let you in.
Yeah.
Right? To me, that's one of those things that, like, you should always do. And if you think, well, they might not see me, well, they might. So just do it anyways.
Yep.
Dude, when I was in Tampa, guy let me over while I was in Tampa for work, and it was bad traffic jam. Dude let me over. And I got over in front of him and stuff. You know, he kind of flashed me and stuff. I hopped out of the car because traffic was bad enough. I hopped out of the car, went back there and dapped him up.
He was
Like,
probably thinking,
personally
don't
dapped
shoot
him
me,
up.
don't shoot me, don't shoot me.
The guy was just laughing. Like, he was just like, yeah, no problem, man. You know, I was like, I figured I had time. So I come back here and dap you up a little bit.
Now, depending on where you live, you may not want to necessarily walk up
Yeah,
on somebody's car. Like
Oh,
that,
dude,
you know?
dude was probably shitting his pants
Yeah.
and big ass JP.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, what did I do?
But I just let you over, dude. I don't understand.
I'm sorry, dude.
Get over, man. Get over.
No, we're past
You
this.
just made my day. I had to tell you.
Oh man. So I've got more. Do y'all have any that I want y'all to interject some here.
My
too.
two biggest ones, I'd like speak confidently when you're talking to somebody, not like in a quiet mouse voice or whatever. I know I'm the quietest out of this group, so that's not nothing toward me. But whenever you're really talking to somebody and you're in a position where you know there's somebody who you feel like is bigger or better than you or whatever, you need to be confident. You need to show that confidence. Also with your walk, how you walk, how you dress. Don't put your pants down to your knees or whatnot. You know, you need to have them uptight and nice and, you know, well dressed and well presented, like what you talked about earlier at the funeral. I mean, that's all the way around. If I'm going out in public, now if you catch me at my house because I work from home, I'm probably going to be this I just rolled out of bed, and that's because I can do that. But if I'm going to go anywhere in public,
you're gonna be in your SOM boxers.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
I'm SOM out. So, but no, I mean, I dress up, I clean up, I shave, I get everything looking good. Check your nose hairs, your ear hairs, every hairs. Yeah. I mean, dude, and especially if you're dealing with people, if you're talking to people and you got a nose hair hanging out, flicking while you're breathing,
I can't hear anything
nobody's listening to you. So you gotta check yourself in the mirror. Look, just do yourself a favor.
It's like the wrinkle commercial, like your shirt's all wrinkled up and stuff like that, and like nobody can hear what you're saying because they're looking at the wrinkles.
Right, they're distracted. They don't take you seriously. They're
because you don't take you seriously.
Exactly.
To be honest with you.
Well, and I've seen somebody come to a meeting once and they just literally didn't check in the mirror. I'm like, hey, right here,
dude. I get out.
Check your beard.
And so I do sales, and every place I get out. And it's become such a habit now, like I do it all the time. Like if I'm at the house and I hop in the car to get something, before I get out of the car, I'm looking in the mirror. It's like every time I get out, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm checking for bugs, checking for eye bugs, just making sure, you know, whatever, no scaly, dry face in the wintertime, whatever, dude. Like it matters, you know? It matters because I want them listening to what I'm saying and engaging with me, not being distracted by what's on my face or whatever, in my teeth.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Oh, teeth.
I'm always annoyed by what's, you know.
Brush your teeth, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
Bad breath. Fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're in Europe, if you're listening in Europe, your teeth can be however you want them to be. No, it's cool over there. Apparently, like you don't. From what I understand, it's not a big deal.
We have a new listener in the UK, so I'm gonna just.
I would love to hear from him. I would love to hear from him and say, hey, look, like I would love to understand the backstory on that, and I'm getting that from Austin Powers.
Yeah.
So you remember Austin Powers? Like he was like, oh my God, your teeth are all jacked up, and he's like, it's okay over here, we can do this. Sorry.
I don't know if that's it's like
a trip in JP's mind, I'll tell you.
That was Austin Powers or like
I'm
Lord
in
of the Rings.
You know, I'm in and out. That's cool. That's cool. I'll be back. I've got a bunch of stuff, to be honest with you. I'm not going to go through my whole list right now because I'm sure we'll bounce around and hit some other things. One thing I want to talk about with eye contact, though, is like there are times where you don't want to make eye contact, right? Like if you're eating a banana and you're a man, like don't make eye contact with another man. Why are you guys?
Are you not supposed to eat like when you're driving too? You're not supposed to put your head down to eat one.
How awkward would it be if I was sitting there eating a banana, staring at you the whole time? I mean,
right?
Like, let's just be honest. No, I'm really trying to put a little comedy in there, but that's real life. If you needed to hear that, then there's a lot of other episodes.
God bless your soul.
That you probably need to hear as well, but I just want to throw some comic relief in there.
I think staring at another man just eating anything is just
yeah, that is weird too.
I mean, banana especially, but I mean, just anything. It could be a steak for all I care. Just don't stare at me while you're eating it.
So let's be honest. Being a man is awesome.
Yeah,
like I'm telling you,
we've got it easy.
Being a man
is
really really an awesome thing. And for me personally, to go back to what you guys said, I believe being well dressed and having a vast vocabulary. Because if you want to be an attractive man, have a vast vocabulary and be well dressed. And I'm not talking about you got to have alligator shoes and go overboard on stuff, but look nice and just care about how you look a little bit. Like you ain't got to be perfect. Nobody's asking you to put eyeliner on. But like you said, make sure you ain't got no boogers hanging out.
I'll take mine
make
off.
sure your nose is trimmed up and stuff like that. I mean, if you're going to something nice, you know, maybe putting up a button-up shirt or something like that. Or if you're going to a funeral, wear a jacket, kind of thing. Understand, you know, how to dress for the occasion and have a vocabulary. That is one of the biggest things that drives me nuts when I talk to people, when they have like zero vocabulary. I saw something, and I'm just going to throw this in there, but Mark Twain had a quote that said, "A man that does not read has zero advantage over a man who cannot read."
I've seen that. Yeah,
that is dirty.
Powerful.
That is nasty.
That's
you
true,
think about
though.
that for a minute, and you start to, if you don't read, you compare yourself to a man who can't read. Like, let's be honest. I mean, like that's pretty deep. But the reason I bring that up is a vast vocabulary comes from reading.
Yep.
And that's where you'll develop that. But that's a really attractive trait. So if you're a single guy out there, that was free dating advice.
Well, all this stuff's going to help.
On that note, just like what you're saying, just don't be dropping bombs every 2 seconds, especially when you're in public and around kids. Like, know when to say certain things and be able to refrain yourself from being a sailor just for that moment. When you get around your boys, cool. You're in the environment, you can do that, cut up. But whenever you're around kids and people who are listening and other families, be respectful of what they might be, what they may tolerate.
And that's a really good point. And I'm glad you brought that up because, we get pretty loose in here and there can be some language or whatever. We're not dropping F-bombs every 3 seconds by any means, but certainly, I don't know what happened there. Certainly.
And, never let your voice crack.
Wow. First of all, to be a man, you should probably let your balls drop before you start telling other men what to do. But I don't think anything's wrong with that, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing it. But there's a time and a place.
Yes.
And if it's there's a bunch of ladies around, or there's kids around, or it's us but in a different environment, something that's calls for a different level of communication or whatever it may be, then you need to recognize that, and that should be something that becomes easily recognizable to you. The way that we talk when we're hanging around having a beer is different than the way that we might talk while we're speaking into our boys at Sunday school. Right. And some people may get that twisted and be like, that's hypocritical. I disagree. I just think that's mature and understanding that you're out of your mind if you think your kid's not going to use some of these words one day. But I don't want him to use them when he's 4.
Right.
So I don't know. Everybody's I'm sure that could get pretty deep into that conversation, but I think it's a valid point. Mm-hmm. You should recognize there's certain language that's appropriate for certain places.
No, there is for sure.
But it doesn't mean you should be a different person. You might
it's mental maturity is what that is. There's
for sure.
Without going too deep.
Anybody else? You got more? I got more.
Yeah, I got
more,
plenty.
yeah.
So here another one that's big for me. So with the amount of travel that I do, one of the things that drives me freaking nuts is to see a middle-aged to young man that is in good shape, that is sitting down in a seat in a subway or in a tram that is going from wherever to wherever, and there is 2 elderly people or a woman standing next to them, and they don't get up and offer their seat.
Oh man!
If you are a man and you are sitting in a seat and there is a elderly couple in eye shot of you, you first offer that woman your seat. Get the hell up and give her your seat. Like, I'm sorry, like there's no in between on that. Now, if that person says, nope, I'm fine, I've been sitting for 12 hours, I want to stand, I'm good with where I'm at, it's a whole nother story. Find somebody else that's in there that you can give your seat up to, but you should be looking. When you sit down as a man in a public transit kind of environment,
anywhere,
you should, really anywhere, but you should be looking for people that are either elderly or women that you can offer your seat to. That should be a badge of honor for you. As a man, you should be like, hey, ma'am, take this seat right here. And I've done it on several occasions, but I see it a lot. I hate getting on one of them, and there's like 5 or 6 elderly people, and then you see these like younger men that are sitting in the seats and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, dude, get your ass up. Like, that fires me up.
Oh, dude,
it might just
that was
be
the next
me.
one on my list. No, that was the next one on my
serious?
list. Yeah, I promise you.
It might just be, okay.
That's on my list.
Because
it's the difference between you first or me first. That's all it is. It's a mentality of who are you putting first in your mind.
It's being respectful of others.
Yep.
But also, there's the biggest thing, and it's bigger than you, is you're representing men. So the ones that are jerks and do stupid stuff toward women or older, elderly or whatever and are not respectful, you're giving the rest of the men out there a bad name. So think outside of yourself and say, hey, how can I represent men in the right light? And that's how you do it.
I think the biggest issue right now is that people are so distracted, so they don't really think about those things consciously or in the moment. So it's not that they realize that there's an elderly couple that just got out of the tram and I'm 17, I'm sitting in the seat because
Put
they're too
your
busy
phone
scrolling.
in your pocket.
Yeah. Right.
Pay attention.
They're too busy scrolling. They don't. I mean, someone could rob the train and they probably wouldn't even know it. Most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's more of the issue now is that people are so distracted, and parents are even distracted to where they're not teaching their kids the things like that we're teaching our boys. And I think that's why we've come so far as a society is in maybe the wrong direction.
Well, I think one of the things that we really need to make men understand is the whole, and this is superhero cliche, but with great power comes great responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to make men understand is how awesome it is to be a man. And I say that without any remorse whatsoever. It is outstanding to be a man. I love the fact that I'm a man. It's been a long time since I've been a woman, so being a man has been really good for me. But with that,
nobody could even laugh because we look at you and it's like there ain't nothing womanly about it.
But we do. Yeah, we know that.
To be honest with you, though, one of the things that I think a lot of men, especially early on, that are like the 17-year-old kid and stuff like that, they don't realize that they have a responsibility because they don't realize they have that power. Right. So as a man, it's your responsibility to lead. Just as far as what I believe, as a man, it's your responsibility to lead. But if it's your responsibility to lead, then that comes with responsibilities. And if that means setting your phone down and stop scrolling so that you understand what's going on around you, then that's what you need to do. But I think that's a great point, though. Mm-hmm. A lot of men don't realize that with great power comes great responsibility. That's a Superman
or
cliche.
They don't
or a Spider-Man cliche.
Just get it right, okay?
Sorry, shit. My God, carry on. Next point.
That's where I was going to go with what I was going to share was that being conscious,
yes.
I think is important, and being situationally aware of what's going on around you, because that's how you can ultimately take all the traits you're going to cover and be a gentleman, right? I think it's like you're talking about with making sure you're not sitting down, or where someone else should be sitting down in your seat. You need to be situationally aware for that, or same thing with the language. You need to be situationally aware to know when, and mentally mature to know when to use that language. Yep. There's a lot of, I think that's a huge part. I think that's the glue that holds the gentleman together is the situational awareness, and obviously the mental maturity comes kind of as a subletter to that. But
well, and to build on JP's point about the whole power and responsibility thing, I know for a fact a lot of men don't realize what kind of power they have in society. And therefore they shirk on these, or whatever the word is, on the responsibilities that they have to do this little stuff. And what they're not realizing is that you're losing your power by not doing these little practical things. You have turned over your power, and not only have you turned it over or lost it, but now you're even compounding on that in the negative sense that you could create so much more power just by doing it. Like just little bitty things, like, helping a lady out of the car, opening a door, look at, firm handshake, all this little stuff. It just little wins, and it builds this power.
And that's a great point, though. I mean, to go back to what you're talking about, it's not just giving up a seat. It's like if a woman drops her phone and you're standing next to it, like pick up the phone and hand it to her. Like, and that's where people what we've talked about it in the past, like, really just start to create that aura around men again, because a gentleman is a guy that is extremely strong, and he's a leader in society, and he has a lot of power, but he doesn't take that power for granted. He's earned that power based off the responsibilities that he takes care of. Mm-hmm. So this guy might be the CEO of a company and might have a shit ton of power, but if he's sitting next to a woman on a bus on the way home and she drops her phone, he reaches over and picks it up. That's a man. That's a gentleman. Right. Like, there's no status to that. Mm-mm. I mean, your power comes with those kind of responsibilities. At that point in time, it's your responsibility, if you get off that bus and you see a piece of trash, to pick that piece of trash up, throw it in the trash can. We've talked about that before. Mm-hmm. If everybody did, could you imagine if every man on the planet that walked and got off a bus and saw a piece of trash on the side of the road, they picked it up, threw it in the trash can, what this world would kind of look like?
Mm-hmm. No, but people aren't aware.
Right, they're not. They're absolutely not aware.
Right, they're either on the phone, right? Or most people are on the phone everywhere now.
Or they're in a hurry to get to the next meeting, or
sucked in. Dude,
Jumanji. Have you the new Jumanji?
I haven't seen it yet. Mia wants me to go take her.
So the new Jumanji. So they're talking to a guy that's in Jumanji, right? He's been in there since 1996, and they're talking to him, and Jack Black's played by a girl, right? So he's sitting there going, "Oh my God, I don't have my phone," like that, stuff like that. And the guy that's in there that's been stuck in there since 1996, he was like, "You keep making these references to phone. Is something different about phones where you're at?" And like that hit me when we were watching that. I was like, holy crap. Like in 96.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, nobody said anything about phones. You'd be lucky to have one that didn't have a cord.
Right.
Yeah, or a bag.
Yeah, we're big.
Yeah.
You know, but that's a great point. We've lost our consciousness in society because of the fact that we're
It's hard
so
to go back
virtually
and think,
attached
too.
to everything that's going on.
You know, like it's hard to go back and think, like, what was it like before we had one of those things attached to us all the time?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know?
It was kind of every once in a while you get that thing that hits you and it kicks you right in the nuts and you go, oh man,
Yeah.
that's a great point. Like, I mean, it really is.
Another good movie to reference to that's Wall-E. Whenever they're up in space, I don't know if you've ever seen that. We're all distracted on the screens and they're not even talking to each other.
Wow.
Like they're literally right beside each other,
Oh
and they're talking to each other on a screen instead of
Oh,
to
yeah,
themselves.
I remember
Like
that.
just look over and say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And
Oh,
engage.
man, it makes
Just
me nauseous.
engage. That's really the biggest thing. Just engage yourself into society.
I think that's where a lot of the non-eye contact comes from, is that, you know, we're used to staring at our screens or looking at people on our screens, you know. So when we're in person with people, we don't know how to, some people don't know how to act because they're always virtual.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, they're socially awkward.
Well, think about how many jobs are in cubicles now. I mean, damn, even your office is segregated from
Even
people.
I am each other at work.
Yeah,
Right.
I am, or you're
Yeah.
in virtual meetings all day, and you're
Yeah.
looking at your picture more than other people's picture, right?
Yeah.
So you're
True.
so weird about
I
yourself.
work for a tech company. I can believe it.
So, kind of on the same token, a little bit is one I had put down here was stand up when being introduced to somebody, specifically a lady.
Yeah.
Mm.
But like, get out of your chair. Like, if somebody introduces you to someone, stand the freak up, and then the firm handshake, then the eyes, and all of it comes together. You know.
Mhm.
But like, seriously, that is a sign of respect. Like, as a gentleman, don't keep sitting down. That is one of the dude that drives me insane when I see somebody be like, "What's up?" and they're still sitting on the couch or still sitting in the booth at the restaurant or whatever. Like, dude, stand up.
Yeah.
You know, it just shows respect. So, Wilson, you look like you had one on the tip of your tongue.
Oh, I was just going to say speak your mind. That was one of my next ones. Just kind of like if you have something to say it, or call people out whenever you are. If you are one of these listeners now that are a gentleman, or you call yourself a gentleman, you see another man do something that's not gentleman-like, feel free to call him out. Say, hey, dude, I don't know if your dad taught you this, but yeah,
Yo.
yo.
Make sure that you
You're gonna learn
develop
something today.
people's skills before
Yeah,
you
right,
do
right.
that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Or somebody
Yeah.
will develop them for you.
Yeah.
In
Don't
your face.
don't
Pick and choose
just
your battles on that
yeah
one.
go talk to a guy about getting chalk on
Well-
the floor in the gym and he's 280 pounds and you're like, listen, bitch.
That's true.
Just
Well,
so say it's a good chalk drawing he did.
I just wanted to let you know I screwed up over there and got some of your chalk off the bar.
It's my fault. Totally my fault.
My bad. Well, it's kind of like we talked about putting the card up for that one dude that didn't realize that he needed to do that.
Hmm.
You know, being the example of going and making a known, like, hey, I got you. You know, something like that. And that type of example is what I'm thinking of.
Oh,
not
yeah, you don't have to
not
be
being
a
a jerk
dick.
or a dick about it.
No, you
Just
be an
like,
example.
Hey, be the example.
Hey, don't worry about it. I'll get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just something simple as that.
It's not being a dick; it's being passive aggressive.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, you just say, hey, don't worry about it. I'll get it. and
Being
stuff.
half fat.
Yeah, a lot of times that person's like, oh, okay, well, that was nice, man. Appreciate you getting it and stuff. And then they get in the car and they go,
Wait a minute.
shit. Yeah, okay. All right, you just call me out. All right, I got
But by this
I got
point,
it.
you're gone, so you can't get punched.
I got it.
Yeah.
But it's being accountable.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. A lot of this, well, a lot of it is, but it's being accountable to, what you're called to be, what you're created to be. Another one that hit me this week. You guys know we're buying a new house and we're going to be getting moved into that soon, and we're doing the whole new furniture thing or whatever. And I got to tell you about it later. Found a killer deal on this badass couch. But we're moving it, and I had to borrow. And this sounds so I can't use that. This sounds so not manly. But I had to borrow. I had to borrow a truck and a trailer. Don't ever let that come out of my mouth again.
You got a Sequoia.
Yeah, but the light hookup is like. Anyways, it's a long story.
Man,
So
I took the ticket.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't talk about it. So I borrowed this truck and trailer. So and it's actually it's kind of funny. It's my stepson's grandfather. So it's a unique relationship in and of itself. Not my father-in-law. Let's put it that way. But awesome people, super awesome people, and I took my stepson with me. Because it's one of those things where it's like you have opportunities to like don't just sit around the house playing a video game. Let's go. We're going to go hook the trailer up. We're going to go get the couch. We're going to move the couch to the house, and we're going to take the trailer back. And it's the stuff you should do. Stuff I remember doing it with my dad. And I didn't really want to when I was doing it, but now when I look back, it was like cool because it was like me and my dad in the truck. Things like that. And so he's like, so, do we have to take the trailer back? And I said, yeah, we do, but we got to stop and get gas first. And he was like, I mean, it's got half a tank. Do you not have enough gas? I said, no. I said, you don't ever borrow somebody's truck and not take it back without a full tank of gas.
That's a great point.
Dude.
Yep.
And I realized like he'd never heard that before. And I was like, I that's on me. Like, and I said, listen, buddy. And he's good now. He's 14 now. So he's getting to where he's like starting to get more of this stuff. And I said, listen, if you ever borrow somebody's vehicle, always fill it up before you take it back.
Always.
Even if, I don't care if you drove it 3 blocks,
Yep.
drive it 4 and go to a gas station, fill it up and bring it back.
Mhm.
And
It's showing you appreciated the gesture of you
100%.
using the car.
yeah. And I will tell you, especially in the South, if you don't, it'll be the last time you borrow that dude's truck.
Yeah,
I bet
man.
you.
Sure will.
Like,
That'd
that's
be the
a
last
real
time I
deal
let
thing,
you.
man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
And a lot of that just goes back to being a decent human being.
Yep.
Because some of this stuff, like I've met some good old boys that were not highly educated individuals, but they were aware of the people around them and what people do for them. And part of it comes back to appreciation. You know, part of the way you show your appreciation, you can say thank you. But when you bring a truck back that's got a full tank of gas and you know everything is clean and taken care of and stuff like that, that's a whole nother monster. I let you borrow my truck and I got 3/4 of a tank. You bring it back, it's full and it's clean. Everything's been taken care of. I don't have to do anything. I'm gonna go. Next time that guy wants to borrow a truck, I'll be the first guy to let him do it.
Mhm.
it's that whole leave it better than you found it mentality.
Sure, absolutely.
You know?
That was one of my next points.
Yep.
Right
So,
there.
I mean, same thing with like a facility or something like that. We've always talked about that. Like,
Yep.
if we're ever renting out a facility, whenever we're gone, we want the people that come in there to clean it up go, man, we don't have shit to do.
So here's a great conversation I was having. I was actually just having with my dad. So in Virginia, when they're talking about the red flag laws and taking people's guns, and they all marched, you know, and had the big protest for taking guns and stuff like that. Not one person was shot. There was a bunch of adults standing out there with their guns protesting this whole BS stuff that the government's trying to do. But what was even more impressive was not the fact that nobody got hurt, because that's an expectation. For me personally, a bunch of adults that have guns and have carry permits and stuff like that, nobody should get hurt. I mean, unless somebody gets crazy, but nobody should get hurt. But the fact of the matter is, when they left, that place looked better than it did when they showed up. There was no trash. There was no shit laying all over the place. There wasn't spray paint on stuff and everything. Like, and I'm sorry, man, but if you're the type of person that goes around spray paint stuff and vandalizes other people's property and stuff, you're probably one of the lower end people in my book. I mean, you are a low life type of person. You're probably down there with people that steal and things of that nature. Andy Frisella's talked about that before in his podcast, where he's talked about he has an organization come together that is what they consider their higher end organization, bunch of leaders, people that are really ambitious and stuff. And he said it amazed me. He had like 200 people, I believe it was, at his house, 200 people. And he said they left. And he said what was impressive was the party was amazing and it was awesome. But the most impressive thing is when you can sit in your house after 200 people are in your house and you don't have to pick up anything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, he had that.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
What?
That's quality
2,000.
people right there.
And he has his the syndicate, right? And 2,000 people were in this huge ballroom or this
Was it
hotel.
2,000?
No,
Okay.
he does his home thing for First Form, right?
Oh.
But then he does a thing for the Arte syndicate, where there was thousands of leaders.
Yeah.
Almost like a URA type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the place was cleaner than when they got there when they left.
That's how it should be.
But that goes to the point. So, and if you're listening, like it's not about going in there and cleaning the place up. It's about where you're at. Better look great. Like if you spilled something, wipe it up.
Mhm.
If you have some trash, throw it away.
If your
It's
kids-
nothing like unbelievable. I mean, it's like we talked about before. If it takes less than 5 minutes, do it right now. Like go in there and just take care of your mess. And if every person in there has a level of integrity, that's what happens. And when everybody does it, it's amazing, because you look at it and you're like, holy shit, every person that was in here has a level of integrity to where they have cleaned up their own messes.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's self-respect at that point.
And someone
I mean,
else's, for that
And
matter.
yeah,
and maybe
somebody
pick up
else's.
a bag of chips
Or
and
your
next
own
to 'em.
kids
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
It was-
and this is not only a guy thing or a gentleman thing, because this is just a good person thing.
Right.
We were at an awesome Super Bowl party, whatever it was, a week or two ago, and there was a bunch of adults and a bunch of kids. I mean, like packed out, and they got a couple this house, particular house, the nice house, got 2 huge playrooms for the kids, and there was probably 20 kids there, you know, and they're like between 3 and 8 years old, every one of them, and they're just destroying this place. Well, towards the end of the game, and I got to give a shout out to my wife, and she wasn't the only one, but she had kind of started the charge, and she's picking up everywhere. I mean, she's just like cleaning from top to bottom, picking up toys, putting this stuff up, cleaning up the kitchen, doing all this kind of thing. And that's just her natural. And the other ladies there, one that lived in the house and another one that was a friend of theirs, they kept telling her, sit down, sit down, sit down. And I stopped them. I said, listen, it doesn't matter how many times you say it. She's not going to stop until it's cleaned up. So you might as well just hold your breath. And it's not because she's trying to get a badge of honor. It's not because she needs a pat on the back. It's just because she would not feel right leaving your house looking like that, even though we know we only had 2 of the 20 kids here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's not for recognition. It's not for anything other than it's just the right thing to do.
Right.
And when you come to our house, it's not that we expect you to do it, but you probably would if we did it at yours, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and if you don't do things for recognition, the appreciation goes through the roof.
Yep.
I mean, if I can tell somebody's genuinely doing something just because they feel like that is just who they are, then that's a whole other monster. You really want to mess things up, start taking pictures of what you're doing. You know, like, hey, look at me. I'm picking this up over here. I'm taking care of this. Hey guys, look at me. I'm doing this. Like you're missing the point.
What'd you talk about recently about giving $1 to a homeless person and taking
exactly
a picture?
taking a picture while you're giving somebody.
You just
Come on,
devalued
man.
the whole situation.
Like, please stop. Yeah. You're even worse. Just don't give them $1.
Yeah.
Like that,
just don't
you'd
do
be
it.
better off not giving them anything.
Yeah, and please close all your social media accounts and stop talking to humans.
But when it comes down to it, gentlemen clean the mess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not just their mess.
Yeah.
But everyone's mess.
But it all goes back to integrity.
Yeah.
All of it goes back to integrity. Have a level of integrity. And if you don't, then develop it.
Yep.
Like start to work on your level of integrity. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I think integrity is one of the most important things that a man can carry with him because it goes with your name. If somebody looks at your name and they say, this guy just embodies integrity, that is the best compliment you can get as a man.
Yep.
100%. All right, I got a couple more I want to rattle off here. This one is one that I have to remind myself of a lot, but it's one that I think very high. Like I know how important it is, but and I don't know. Tell me if y'all have heard this before. But as a gentleman, as a man, say you're out for a walk with your lady, always walk closest to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
Always be the one by the road. Now I didn't know that. That wasn't one that was in front of my mindset for a number of years. But then once I heard it, I was like, that makes total sense. You know, and people might say, why? Well, there's a whole myriad of reasons. You know, your protection between you and your lady.
Yep.
You know, if it goes down or whatever, you can be in between whatever's coming from the street. And that is, and I will tell you too, from your lady's perspective, and I could get my wife in here and she would tell you what she thinks, but they notice like that little bitty thing like that about, hey babe, you come over here. On the side note of that, let's say you're walking in more like a highly populated area. It's nighttime. Downtown at some city or somewhere, whatever, and you're coming on to some less than desirable looking people. Okay, right. Move your ass over to that side and be between your wife and that less than desirable person.
So I'll jump a caveat on that. I tend to, like in areas like that when we're populated areas, especially if they're not good areas, I tend to migrate to the back side of my wife.
You hide behind her.
Yeah. I met your wife. I don't blame you.
and that is not just for the view.
Hey-o.
But a lot of it is to watch. A lot of it is to sit behind my pack, you know, and watch, and not to make this an animal or primal kind of thing, but it really is. I mean, as a man, if you're really there to protect your family, like that's one of the things that I do. If we're in a highly populated area and stuff, I would rather sit behind my wife and watch what's going on, because if something was going to happen, I've got a good bird's eye view from behind her where I can see. And I'm not talking about 20 foot. I'm just saying I will tend to be slightly behind her to watch.
Yeah.
But it's all about what you're moving and what you're for. You know, sometimes you lead the charge. Sometimes you need to move to the back to make sure that nothing's
and I want to clarify my comment, because when I said I don't blame you, I've met your wife, it was not because of the view. Right. I was saying it because your wife is she's spicy, and I wouldn't mess with her. So, like, if somebody bad's coming, she'd be a good person to get behind.
Right, yeah. Most of the time, I'm like, dude, he's small. Dina, you take that guy. I got him.
Well, the thing is, too, if anyone that knows or has even watched a documentary about wolves, the alpha is the last wolf in the pack.
That's right. Yep. Because they have to see what's happening with their... Yeah, because if you're in front and you're just charging ahead, something snags your wife... You might not know for 10 minutes, you know.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing at restaurants too. I always sit where I can see the majority of the place. Like, and my wife knows it used to be that, and that's a lot of military training.
Back to the wall.
Yeah, but a lot of that is implanted in people that have that kind of background. And that's probably where I picked it up from just hanging around guys like that.
Yeah.
But when we first got married, I would change, like the hostess would sit us down and I'd be like, let me sit over there. And she'd always just kind of wonder why. She didn't question it really. She's just like, all right, whatever. But now she knows why. And so when we get to the table, if she already recognizes it at the same time I do, and she'll just move my stuff, you know, you're going to be right there. I already know. And that way I can just be aware of everything. Right. You know? So especially watching the door, but, you know, not just watching the door, it's watching the whole place.
Yeah,
my table will be the first flipped up. I promise you.
Well, that's you know, the whole,
like
the whole
Jesus in
the whole eye contact thing, right? Like shady dude walks in and stuff, and you make eye contact, and you're like, "This is the wrong place, bro."
Yeah.
This is the wrong place, and they go, "You know what? I think I meant to break into that one."
Yeah. Not today,
I meant to
ISIS.
go over there.
Yeah.
Not today, Satan.
Exactly. Well, that's social awareness. You got to be socially aware.
Yeah.
Speaking
So
of, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, so one of my tips, and this was, you know, I wrote down man tips in my notes, but this kind of goes in with what
also a T-shirt.
Yeah, this kind of goes into what you were talking about though. But one of the things that I wrote down, and this is something that I've always embodied. So you should avoid violence at all costs, but if necessary, you should never punch softly. And what that means to me, and let me extrapolate on that a little bit, is if it's time to go, then it's time to go. There's no bitching. I've never been good at shit talking. Like I can mess around with my buddies and stuff like that, but when it's like a serious situation, I've never been good with shit talking and things of that nature. For me, it's either hot or cold. Like it's we're good or it's game on. Yeah. Or it's game on kind of thing for me. So I feel like you should avoiding violence doesn't make you less of a man. So let's get that off first and foremost, because to me personally, somebody who's quick to violence is an ignorant individual. I think people that are less intelligent tend to err on the side of violence. Yep. Okay, so if you're stupid, we'll just put it that way. If you're stupid, you tend to automatically go to violence. A intelligent gentleman will avoid violence, but when it's necessary, then it's game over. Like, we'll just put it that way. So you should always, in my opinion, you should always be prepared. And one of the things that was really cool to me, I just want to read this quote real quick.
I was just going to tell you what I'm picturing.
Go ahead.
Before you read the quote, because what I'm picturing when you're talking about this is, like, you know, back in the day, like old school gentlemen were always boxers.
Yes.
They're always good at boxing. And I'm thinking about, what's that movie that's got the funny songs in it? Like Old Rock Candy Mountain or whatever it is. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? No, anyways, it's a funny movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And it's like, he's talking about he's my fiance.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing when you're doing that.
So, Jordan Peterson, if you guys don't know who he is, he's a guy from Europe, over in England and stuff. And I don't know if you call him philosopher. I don't know what his title is technically, but he's a sharp dude and he understands values. He understands principles. And he speaks on them a lot, but I got some respect for the dude. But he said, a harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has it all under control voluntarily. So one of the things that as a man, and one of these things that I've always aspired to be, and people ask me, like, why do you work so hard? Why do you work out so hard? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Because I never know when I got to punch a motherfucker in the mouth. Like
that's a good life motto right there.
That is, I'm telling you right now, that is like really the basis of a lot of things. Because something happens with my wife, I want to break somebody's jaw to the point where that person no longer wants. Like I want one hit and I'm done. Like I'm getting old now. Like I'm not interested in sitting here dancing.
Yeah, I don't want to wrestle.
No,
I don't get winded.
Going out.
Like I'm trying to knock you the hell out, and all your friends that are with you start to think about, well, shit, she's not worth it. Yeah. I don't think I want to say anything else to her.
Right.
But my whole point behind that, that's kind of trying to make humor of it and stuff. But be a decent human being. Don't resort to violence. But if necessary and you have to resort to violence, you better be fucking violent. Like don't pussyfoot around. Don't sit here and hit soft and stuff like that. If it's time, and in my opinion, as a gentleman, if you are a legit gentleman, when it's game on, it's game over. Like that's if it gets to that point, it's game over kind of thing. And that's kind of how I see things. I don't need to sit here and pussyfoot around with somebody and stuff like that. If it gets to that point, it's time.
That whole we're good, we're not good reminds me of a particular wedding reception.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Game over.
We're done. Right when it happened. When it happened.
Game over.
Well, it's just like when we took our gun permit class. He goes, "Dude, you're not shooting just to keep the person from coming. You shoot them in the face. It's just business. You know, it's just take care of business because
that's your babies.
That's your babies. That's your whoever you're protecting. This is your life, dude. You don't take chances. When somebody crosses that line, that's on them now. Yep. But you take care of business like
he said. There's going to be a lot of stuff you're going to have to deal with, and there's going to be court, and there's going to be all that kind of stuff. But your babies will be safe.
Yeah.
But you should be the guy that beats the shit out of that douchebag that did whatever it took to get the game on, and you should turn around to that woman behind you and say, "Sorry you had to see that, ma'am."
And then wink at her.
And walk away. And wink at her.
You're welcome.
Single,
you're welcome.
You wink at that woman.
right. Yeah, obviously. Now, if you're married, you just look at your own wife and be like, "Still got it, babe."
No, but real shit. That's a dangerous man. A guy that is a dangerous guy that keeps it in check voluntarily is a dangerous dude. Like, you can be a badass and beat on your chest all you want to, but that doesn't make you a bad dude.
No.
Like,
I go back to your point. I love talking shit, but not in confrontation. Like, I'm cool, calm, and collected when it's like game time. You're like, all right, like they're sitting there, doing the thing. All right, dude.
Right.
Okay. And then you
here.
turn it on, and they're on the ground, and you're just dusting yourself off. You're like,
that was fun.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But you stay cool the whole time, because as soon as you lose your shit, game over.
But that's where we're talking about the gentleman thing. Like, you're good. You're good. Until it's time for it to be game on and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that shit talking
game over.
Not okay.
I'm good again.
I'm good
that's
again.
It. That's all. That's what it's
shit
about.
Talk with my boys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Shit talk with a random.
I was clear. I know where we're at.
I mean, if you're on the court,
I love talking shit, dude. But when it's like when someone's talking like not my boys talking shit to me, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then
chill.
Bam.
Yeah.
And then you show the teeth, man. You submit them, and then you're walking around. I'm good.
But that's how guys are, though. That's funny because we talk about the difference between men and women. Is like, guys are all like, "Oh, what's up, you piece of shit?" And you're like, "Oh, that's my dude. That's my dude, right? That's my best friend. That's my best friend. I like him. We are friends.
So true.
We are really, really good friends.
True.
Hey, oh, what's up, douchebag? Oh, pussy bitch."
Everyone else in the world's like, I don't get it. I know.
Like,
it sounds like somebody just learned how to speak English for the first time.
This is the first time of cussing.
Dropping some bombs. Yeah. Figure to go ahead and let them go. But like for women, it's different. It's like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful.
You're so
look at your
cute.
eyelashes
Look at
and
the
stuff like
shoes."
that." And I can't help but look at Dana and go, "She don't like you at all. She don't like you at
She
all."
didn't call you bitch once. You guys cannot be friends.
All right. So let's get we're gonna get towards wrapping up here. So another one.
Another one, yeah.
Another one.
Just
Are you
like
sure you want to go there?
walk her to the car or to her door.
Yes.
Big deal.
Man.
So, okay, now this is like, and again, this is not a, a chauvinistic thing or whatever. It is a respect for the lady, but it's also a protective deal. But like, say you're going out on a date, girlfriend or first date or whatever, or you're married, or it's your mom or whoever, your grandma or whatever. If you're driving a lady somewhere and you drop them off, don't just like pull up at the curb and unlock the door and say, have a good night. Mm-hmm. Like, walk them to the freaking door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Make sure they're okay. Make sure they get inside all right. If you are dating, it might be that time to get that first sugar in, Yeah. But that's beside the point. Other one would be if you're, if they're leaving your place or they're leaving a gathering or whatever. Let's say you're at a party or at an event, whatever it might be, and it's downtown, and she's got to go. You're sticking around. That's okay, but make sure she gets to her car. Yeah. Walk her out to the car. Inconvenience yourself. And walk her out to the car. I don't care how much fun you're having on the dance floor or hanging with your boys or whatever's going on. Hey, hold on a minute. I'm going to walk my wife to the car real quick. I'll be right back.
That simple act will keep people from getting kidnapped, raped,
100%.
a lot of different situations
100%.
that could present itself.
I can't imagine my wife walking downtown by her. And she would. Now, my wife's, I promise you walk up on my wife in a dark alley, that's your fault.
You wish you didn't.
Your fault. Yeah, it was nice knowing you, and we'll pray for your family. But
I don't look at it like that, though. Like, I guess I don't look at it like, I'm going to walk my wife to the car so she don't get raped.
Well, no.
You know, like, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know. I get where your heart's coming from.
Yeah.
I get where your heart's coming from.
Right.
For me, though, it's more of like a respect factor for my wife that I'm like, hey, let's make sure the truck starts. Let's make sure that everything's good to go.
Oh, that's another big one.
Let's make sure when you take off, I know we're good to go.
Yeah,
right.
Like,
So,
that's
true.
that's
You're not sitting out there with a dead phone and a dead car battery.
I do get what you're saying, but rape and stuff is not the first thing that comes to my mind.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of creepy people out there. They they look for any opportunity, and if you don't give them one, then they ain't gonna happen.
Well, I mean, we don't live in fear in my house.
No,
Right,
absolutely.
100%. Yeah,
We carry knives, so we'll just stab you in the groin. Fuck with us.
I carry guns because they go
we
further.
pack.
Yeah, I mean, we pack. I mean,
Yeah, same here.
So I mean, it doesn't matter. You come out with my 10-year-old, and you get cut, bro.
My wife looks like
So-
she's transgender,
but
dude,
I'm-
'cause
I'm
she's
the
got
only-
bulge in the front.
She carries the
I'm
next
so
pair of
sorry.
socks. Dean, are you get socks in your pants for some reason?
Wow.
Just making sure nothing else.
Like crew socks.
So I'm the only one that has a daughter here. So something that just to add on to yours is, I think one of the most important doors to open and make sure it closes your little girls, because you're setting that precedent.
Yep.
And when you set that example, right, and do it to your wife too, so she sees it, right?
Mhm.
But doing it for your little girl, and that becomes a norm for her. When the dude doesn't do it, she's gonna wonder why.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, well,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get my door.
Yeah.
So it's not to spoil, but it's to set that it's to set that example, right? It's opening the doors for your daughter, whether it's a car door or shutting the car door or pulling out the seat or whatever it is, or opening the door at the building or whatever, for the ladies or whatever, or your little girl, whatever it is. Man, it's the same exact treatment. So the treatment you give your wife, you give your daughter, and vice versa.
So I think you should look at it as your most prized possession.
Mhm.
I mean, your
Absolutely.
wife should absolutely be your most prized possession, and that's something that I have to consciously fix on a regular basis, just to be 100% transparent. Because there are times where it gets to where like she can take care of herself, kind of thing. Like we've been together for 12 years, like she knows what she needs to do and stuff like that. But she should be your most prized possession to the point where it's like even the little things, like she's sitting there doing something and like you pull her hair over to the side or something like that. Like, and this is free advice for all the guys that are either dating or working on finding a girl or something like that. These little things right here will, soften up the arena, I guess. Maybe the door becomes unlocked. I don't know how to say this.
Wow.
It gets it nice and primed.
And let me preface here. Don't do it because of that.
Right.
Yes.
That is
They
a
will know.
byproduct.
They will know.
Oh, they know.
Please understand that women are way more intuitive than men are.
Yeah, they
So
are.
please understand that is a byproduct of you treating her like she is your most prized possession.
Mhm.
There's a difference between being a doormat and treating her like a prized possession. So please understand the difference. But for the sake of the conversation, like I think it's a great point. And I wrote down a couple things I just wanted to go through real quick. So when a woman says, correct me if I'm wrong, don't. When a woman says, do what you want, do not do what you want.
Yeah.
By any means. Do not do what you want. And then your woman, if you're married or dating or whatever, she doesn't actually want to hear what you think. She wants to hear what she thinks in a deeper voice.
Oh yeah.
So if you start to look at things like that, then understand that sometimes where we're talking about being interrelational, so there's dependence where you are a baby or a boy and you depend on your parents and stuff like that. Then there's independence where you can take care of yourself, and then there's this really glorious thing called interdependence, where you learn how to be independent, but you learn how to interact with other people, which is called interdependence. Well, when you start to learn how to do that, you start to realize that sometimes your relationship is more important than being right. Okay? So sometimes she wants to hear what she has to say, not what you have to say, just in a deeper voice. So for all you knuckleheads out there, that means repeat what the hell she just said to you to make sure that she understands that you understand what she said and you were listening.
And that could be a whole episode or 6. Right there
Right.
on that whole topic.
I'm going to go with 6.
Yeah, at least. That's a mini-series. I mean, that's at least a mini-series. And I'd say Cinemax mini-series just to keep it interesting. But it's the truth. And when people figure that out, it really is like you have the opportunity as a gentleman to really empower your wife to believe in herself a lot. I mean, like that is one of the biggest things you can do is to help your wife believe in herself. And and all those little things like you were talking about. Even when you're right, you're wrong. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
pick your
like,
battles, dude. Is
Yeah.
it really that important to be right about certain things?
What's more
it definitely ain't going to open up the arena.
It
No.
definitely ain't. Yeah.
it's not going to lock the doors.
It's going to lock the doors shut.
I mean, are you more interested in winning or being effective? Because we've talked about this in the past, and if you guys have looked at our posts and stuff like that, you should be very efficient with your time, but be very effective with your relationships. And what that means is, if it takes an extra 15 minutes and you're dealing with a human being, take the 15 minutes to make sure you're effective.
Yep.
Efficiency is with time and tasks. Effectiveness is with people. So please understand the difference between the two.
Man, this
That's
is
good.
good. And I just wanted to hit on some nice little pointers on being a gentleman.
Don't make eye contact when eating a banana.
That's probably the most
Bring it
impactful
back.
one.
That's
Also
the
a
biggest
t-shirt.
takeaway I
The
took,
biggest
honestly.
nugget there.
So,
Our line of t-shirts is going to be the best ever on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wilson,
so funny.
you got one?
Yeah, he's got a lot.
My last one I wanted to preface or whatnot is like it should be your goal where the wife looks back and says, "How many times I fill up my gas tank?" Oh, maybe like twice in
dude,
an
I'm glad you
entire
said that one.
year.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I can't stand when I go pull up in a gas station and a dude is with his girl.
Especially this time of year, it's cold.
Yeah, I don't care if
Oh,
if it's your sister, your brother. I don't care if you're a man, no matter what, and there's a woman in your presence and they're filling up their own gas tank. Shame on you, dude.
Dude, I don't care if it's your female Uber driver.
I don't care.
Get out and fill up the tank.
for real,
Seriously.
and insist that you
That's
do
good
that.
perspective.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I mean, that
Seriously.
really is good
Like
perspective.
if Barbara picked you up and they're driving you across town to the airport or whatever, and Barbara realizes she needs gas, you get out and pump Barbara's gas.
Absolutely.
Seriously. I'm paying for the ride. It's like a taxi. I don't give a shit.
Don't
Pump her
ask for a
gas.
discount either.
Right.
Yeah.
Just pump
Right.
fucking gas.
Right. Oh my gosh, man. That's a great one. Anything else? I got one more and then I'm going to wrap up.
No, I just want to preface, be aware. You know, I think that we talked about the relationships, you know, be present, be aware. Your environmental awareness is huge, you know, in conversation, you know, that way you can be effective, not only efficient, like Josh said.
100%.
So one of the big things that I want to leave a lot of men out there with is, and Wilson, you kind of touched on this very briefly, but being confident, use your own mind, never be afraid to walk your own path. One of the things, you know, we've talked about this in politics, like stop being one side or the other. Start using your own mind. Don't be a sheep. Don't go with the flow. Dead fish can go with the flow. You could be dead and go with the flow. One of the things that drives me nuts, and this is a very simple illustration. I will literally go into, like, I travel a lot, so I go into mass transit stuff, and I will see people pack onto an escalator and continue to follow everybody that's getting onto this escalator because that's where everybody else is going, when there's a wide open way all the way up to the top. And you know what's funny, though? It only takes one person to jump on that opposite direction and find out that, hey, it's a beeline and I'm passing everybody. And then all of a sudden people start following. So you don't have to be a follower.
They get that weird look on their face. Like,
Yeah, they're like, we can do that?
I can do
that?
Okay.
Nobody else is doing
Yeah.
it. So stop looking at the world as, hey, nobody else is doing that. Like, I can't do that because nobody else is doing it. Carve your own path, man. Stop being afraid to make up your mind to do something different.
When following the masses, sometimes the M is silent.
One of my favorite quotes ever.
That's so good.
One of my favorite quotes ever. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up with my last one, and this is old school traditional right here. Okay? I did this. I'm not asking y'all if y'all did, but I believe it wholeheartedly that before you ask your girlfriend for her hand in marriage, you should get the blessing from her parents.
Oh my goodness, yes.
100%. I believe that.
I
And
did
I
that.
know there's situations where that might not be possible because of, you know, the parental relationship or them, you know, even being alive or whatever.
Mhm.
But I think that is something that whoever is that leading person in their life, you know, dad, grandfather, uncle, whatever it is, there is something to be said for going to them, even though you already know how it's going to go down. It's just taking that 2 seconds to step back and say, I want to ask for your blessing on this. I'm not asking permission. There is a difference.
Yes.
I'm not asking permission. I'm asking your blessing. And you can choose to give it to me or not to give it to me. But out of respect, this is how it's going to go.
Not just the man, the wife too,
Right.
or the mom.
And I will and I'm not saying this is the right. I really don't know if this is the proper way to do it or not. But for me and my wife, now you guys know our story. We met and we were married 3 months later.
Mhm.
Okay, it wasn't a whole lot of courting or anything like that. And I really did not. I think I had maybe met her mom once, and I don't even know if I'd met her dad. Maybe I did, but I don't think I did. I'll ask her later. But when we knew that was when we had talked about it with each other, this we just knew. And so I said, hey, I need to take your parents out to lunch. So I took her parents to lunch. I don't think they were stupid, but we went and had some phenomenal hibachi. You would have enjoyed it. I mean, you can't go wrong there. Like even if the answer's bad, you got hibachi, right? So
it's a good point, man. Yeah, ask her to marry you at hibachi. So even if she says no, you still get
white sauce.
You get a shrimp appetizer
at least.
The yum sauce.
Yeah. So and sake if you want it. So but we might need it. We had lunch. We got to know each other a little bit better, and I said, hey, I intend to ask Tanya to marry me. It would mean the world to me and to her if we had your blessing. And of course they, said, yeah, that's great. Da, da, da. I think they were a little shocked that like people still do this, and I was glad with that. I wanted to shock them the first time I had a chance to spend time around them.
I'm glad you said it because people should be shocked. If we succeed at what we're trying to do with the Shepherds of Men, I want people to be shocked at what men are doing around the world. Like, to be honest, just to be totally honest with you, to not be so self-consumed with everything that's, whether it's virtual, whatever, just start to be conscious of the world around them, and people to just be shocked and go, I saw 4 guys today picking up trash on their way into a building. I'm not talking about walk 5 miles out of the way to pick up a piece of trash. I'm talking about you're on the way into Kroger, and there's a piece of trash, pick it up. Like, I want people to start walking away going, you know what? I saw 5 guys today. Like, I don't know what's going on, but like the shock.
That's the goal, man. That is totally the goal. The grocery carts, all this other stuff. I saw these guys getting, next to the curb and they're telling their wife to move over and let me walk by the curb. Like, that is going to be amazing. And that's what we believe we're here to do. So, unless there's anything else, and wrapping up, I would like to encourage you men out there that are listening, listen to this again. We talked about it a lot. Okay. We do not expect you to get it all, grasp it all the first time through, or even to have heard everything we said. Make sure you listen to this episode multiple times. It will be available, obviously. Continue to let it seep in. Approach it with an open mind, even though it may be brand new to you, and there may be some things that just seem so weird and strange. That doesn't make them wrong. That just makes them different than what you've been taught to this point. Okay? So do not let the fact that it's new hinder you from getting better. Okay? With that, we are pumped to help you grow and add value to you and to increase the relationships, the quality of life that you have. We appreciate you listening, and we're excited about you going to check out some of the things that are going on with Shepherds of Men at the website, shepherdsof.men. Also want to mention the link that is in the menu there to the SOM swag. Just a quick little preface or whatever disclaimer on that. We are pumped about the SOM swag. If you follow us on social media, you've seen us wearing the gear. It is phenomenal. The quality of it's phenomenal. We got it for us, just to be quite frank. We got it for us because we believe in our brand. We believe in what we're doing, and it gives us an opportunity to have conversations, okay? Because it's so awesome, and we believe that some other people might want to be branded in that as well, it is available. Just so you understand, there is no retail profit in that for us. We do not make money off of T-shirts and hats. That's not what we're here for. But we are here to continue to spread a message and build a platform and get the word out so more people can be affected, and so we can affect change generationally. And we believe that through that, we'll be able to have resources that will allow us to do that at a bigger level. So if you want it, go get it. If you don't want it, don't go get it. Just understand this. If you do not embody the things that we were just talking about as a gentleman, or if you're not at least trying to embody those things as a gentleman, please don't fucking wear it. Seriously, we do not want you representing us, okay? So take that for what it is. We love you guys. We're pumped about your future, and we're excited to get with you next time. This has been The Movement with the Shepherds of Men.